Hi Christian Mingle friends, this is Shaunti Feldhahn coming to you with a tip of the day from my research for, ironically, the surprising secrets of highly happy marriages. Now, I know you're going, we're single, not married. However, I learned some things in this research with what is it that makes the most happily married couples that actually really matters, I realized, for singles who want to develop a great relationship and get married someday. Here's one of the things that we found makes a huge difference to happily married couples and I think also to singles. And that is when you're hurt, choosing to believe the best of the other person's intentions rather than what subconsciously comes out, which is often kind of believing the worst. Now, obviously, believing the best of someone's intentions matters most intensely in marriage where you've resolved you are going to trust each other for the rest of your life. It's not quite the same when you're still learning each other as a single, but if you have been kind of meeting each other for a while, and let's just say you have gotten to know each other and you've developed a relationship over a little bit of time and you kind of know this person's heart is good, it's really important at that point to start switching into a different way of handling things. It is very easy subconsciously when you're hurt, let's just say you're a woman, and he says something really hurtful or does something that really hurts your feelings. It's easy to think to yourself, he knew how that would make me feel and he said it anyway. And what you're thinking is, unbeknownst to you, is he doesn't care about me. Now, if you respond to that in kind, then you're going to respond in a way that's probably going to be a little upsetting and it might make him defensive. And suddenly you've gotten on a negative spiral where it never needed to start. And instead, you could think to yourself, ow, yeah, that hurt, but you know what? I really think he cares about me. I've seen a lot of evidence that this is going someplace. And so, maybe he didn't know how that would make me feel, because if he had, I bet he wouldn't have said it that way. Now, learning how to respond in that direction is so important for everything from this point on, including once you get married. This is one of the things that keeps things going in a positive direction rather than making them go in a negative one. Let me give you just a silly little example, but I heard this recently from a woman I was talking to. 32 years old, just lost a great relationship with a great guy. I met her at one of my events and I eventually did meet the guy as well. Such a good guy, and it really could have been a wonderful relationship, but it was very easy for her to get suspicious and why did he do that, and he didn't care how that would make me feel, and eventually he realized that I just don't think I can ever please this girl, and he really didn't want to get into that trap for the rest of his life. Here's an example of how that worked. Her 32nd birthday, they had been dating for, I think, almost 2 years. And he comes in all excited into the restaurant with this big box and sets it down as her birthday present. And she eagerly unwraps it, and she's kind of hoping it's a big box that gets smaller and smaller and it's going to be a ring. But instead, she unwraps it and it's a sweater. And she's so upset. A sweater? You only give a sweater to someone when you've known them for a couple of months. What does this say? That you're giving me a sweater? We've been dating almost 2 years. And she just, you don't care about me. You don't care how this will be perceived. And unbeknownst to her, she was believing the worst, but unbeknownst to her, he had been thinking about marriage. In his mind, this was definitely going that direction, but in his mind, you don't ask a woman to marry you until you're financially able to pay for a chunk of the wedding, to pay for the honeymoon, to have a certain amount in the bank account. And once, in his mind, you got to that point, that's when you asked her to marry you. Now, she might have disagreed, but that was, what he was thinking subconsciously inside. And so she was assuming that this was a signal that he doesn't care, when in fact, quietly, behind the scenes, he had been doing all of the things that shows that he did care. And she just assumed the worst of this gift and the worst of his intentions and lost a fantastic relationship because he realized he could never compete with that suspicious nature. Now, obviously, it doesn't always look like that. Obviously, there could be other things that happen, and maybe it isn't the best relationship for you, and maybe it is better to say, you know what, I'm seeing a lot of this negative stuff and better to split now. But if you generally know each other's hearts, realize that this truly may be an opportunity for you to practice believing the best even when you're hurt. I hope that helps.